This is real wisdom from a couple who lives it out every day. Spend 3 minutes around the Rosbergs and you'll be thirsty for more in your marriage. You'll also be affirmed and encouraged.
For 40 plus years, Dr. Gary and Barbie Rosberg have been inspiring marriages throughout the world. These seasoned radio hosts are now hosting their popular podcast, Your Marriage Coaches. Coupled with their many popular and best-selling books and their marriage coaching and training, Dr. Gary and Barbie Rosberg are equipping couples everywhere with tools and encouragement for a great marriage.
These two have been an asset to my marriage with their biblical marriage applications, advice, and guidance. Let Dr. Gary and Barbie help you get the more out of your marriage.
Won't you partner with the Rosbergs today? Your generous donation will support their mission of championing marriages for the cause of Christ by coaching husbands and wives to experience a great marriage for a lifetime and for the sake of the next generation. We appreciate your prayers and support for this ministry. Find out how you can come alongside the Rosbergs when you go to americasfamilycoaches.com. Just search the top of the index for the Donate tab.
Thank you, Dr. Gary and Barbie, for sharing your wisdom, your advice, your help, and your love and laughter with the world. You are tenderly caring for hearts, resulting in happy, healthy homes. So grateful for you.
We appreciate your prayers and support for this ministry. Go to americasfamilycoaches.com today to find out how you can support this life-giving ministry.
Welcome to the Rosbergs, your marriage coaches. Join Dr. Gary and Barbie Rosberg, America's family coaches, who bring 4 decades of empowering marriages across the U.S. and internationally for this podcast to equip you and your partner with encouragement and tools for a great marriage. Here now are your hosts, Dr. Gary and Barbie Rosberg.
Welcome back. We're Dr. Gary and Barbie Rosberg, America's Family Coaches, and this podcast is called The Rosbergs, Your Marriage Coaches. So we're here for you. We're here to put you on our shoulders, to speak into you, to encourage you, to cheer you on, and to take decades of ministry and marriage and broadcasting and books and conferences and all this stuff and bring it all into as if we're sitting just with you, coming alongside and having the privilege to speak into this thing called marriage, your marriage, and we're your coaches. So Barbie, this program is really, I think, going to be good because we're expanding it from marriage to the entire family. And we're going to be talking about some family rituals that will build lasting love in your family.
Well, and Gary, I think about sitting in 2 chairs at the end of the day and asking ourselves, what's really working in our marriage? And we might come up with different ideas, different rituals every day, but they don't have to be big. Mm-hmm. They can be very small. And yet, if they're done with love, if they're dependable, they're consistent, you know that you can rely upon them, and they're done with love, then you can build the resiliency in your marriage that you're going to have that time to connect to one another.
Yeah. So they're not just habits. If you write these things down and you listen to the program, have your spouse listen to the program, that's awesome. But don't write them down and say, okay, if we just do these things, then we're going to have a lasting love in our family. But when you do these things, you start to experience the lasting love in your family. So they're not habits, but here's what they are. They're intentional. They're heart-anchored moments in your family that when they happen again and again and again, they build emotional connection. They build a connection that will last a lifetime. If you've got kids at home and they catch this stuff early on, great, because they'll not only repeat it in their marriages, but they'll also repeat it to you when they're taking care of you and they're caring for you. We want to encourage them to do that as well.
What we love to call them is daily taking your temperature. It's a time of safety, a time of knowing that you're going to have that time to connect. It's choosing a time of day, maybe before you go to work, before the kids are awake, or it might be later in the evening when you and your spouse can just sit down and connect to one another. You want to share a little bit about
Yeah, so that's the first ritual, is something called daily connection. So some of you are saying, okay, put these in kind of outline form. It's daily connection. And you know what, Barbie? You learned it watching your parents. I learned it watching my parents. Our kids have learned it watching us.
And now we're watching our children
and now
do
we're
it in
watching
their
our
marriages.
kids. And we teach all the couples when we do marriage coaching up front and close with couples throughout the year. This is one of the things that we model. We were coaching a couple recently, and they said, well, we've got these 2 chairs. You told us to get 2 chairs and go to those 2 chairs on a consistent basis. But we were traveling, so we did it in the hotel, or we were in a car headed to an event. And so we did it there. Do those count? And we said, of course they count. So the idea is to be intentional and to even turn to each other and say, this is like our chair time, so that the spouse knows, okay, my spouse is trying. But when you do that daily, and you do it for at least 20, 30 minutes, and then you do a couple additional things. One is you turn off the phone. I can't overstate the power of throttling down your devices. You know, when we were kids, our dads would put up the newspaper and read the newspaper. And then if our mom was talking to them, they'd put it down and say, did you say something? And they'd put it back up and wrestle it. Well, that doesn't happen much anymore. But what does happen is screens interrupt intimacy. And so we want screens to not interrupt intimacy. We want the screens to be turned off. And guys, I'm just going to say it. I suggest that you take the lead on it. So you say, you know what, honey, I'm going to spend a few minutes in daily connection with you. I heard that with Gary and Barbie. And one of the things they said is turn off the screen. So I'm going to turn off my Android or my Apple iPhone. And then don't say you do it too. But if your spouse sees you do that 3, 4, 5 times, they're going to start to do it as well. And so you do that. And then you just ask some questions. What's going on with you today? You know, what is your heart? You know, what are some of the experiences? And Barbie, we told a couple the other day, if you go from thoughts, and we said it's like driving an 18-wheeler. You go from thoughts, and then you ratchet the gear, and then you go down to feelings, and then you ratchet the gear, and then you go down to needs. This is what I need. Just those 3 gears, it will get you to the connection that you're desiring.
So we're sitting in our chairs.
Yep.
And we are sharing and communicating and connecting. Now, this might be a foreign for you. Maybe what Gary just said felt like a foreign language. It's okay. Just start with buying your wife 2 new chairs. That's all you need to do.
That was a setup.
And then you can sit down and try out those chairs. And you know, when you've got that ritual or that routine that she can look forward to on a daily basis, whether she's working in the home and going to work too, returning to her second job, or the same for both of you. I'm speaking from a woman's perspective because I'm a woman. Yeah. But if I know that I am going to have connection time with my husband every day, say at 5:00, then, and it doesn't matter what that means to you, whether it's 7:00 or 10:00, but the reality is you can depend upon it. And the umbrella communication over your marriage is this. It's as though there's a cartoon script over you saying to your wife, I choose you. Mm. And when you are putting the phone down, as Gary said, when you are interrupting what you'd really rather do, but you are turning with your body, and she can read you because every woman can read her husband. Most of them can, and many men can read their wives. Mm-hmm. But when you turn to one another and you make the time, and you might say, as Gary just said, tell me about your day. What was the high point of your day? What did you enjoy the most? Did you have some good conversations today? These are all good things to say to your wife. But you know, one I thought of earlier when I was preparing for the show, and that is, it reminded me of, this is what I thought of, and then I'll give you the background. Where did you experience God's pleasure over you today?
That's good.
And the reason I said that is not long ago, Gary and I saw the movie Chariots of Fire. I'm sure I talked about it on another podcast. But it was Eric Liddell who was the runner, and he was explaining to his sister why he wanted to run, and that when he runs, he feels God's pleasure. Yeah. And if we can get to the point in our marriage, now some conversations might be just more data driven, or you're just downloading the calendar. When you get into that moment of talking about where did you see or experience God's pleasure over you today?
That's good.
I can go right into the moment where I experienced it today, more than once, more than twice.
Yeah.
And so if you ask me that later on today, I'm sure going to tell you.
Well, and the first time you ask it, your spouse may go, what did you read? Or
well, then you're not there yet.
Yeah, you're not there. But you do
your
that
mate
3
need to
times,
warm-
5 times.
Your mate
Yeah.
need to warm up.
It'll
over
build it.
I think the closer your safety is, the closer your connection, the more emotionally vulnerable you'll know when you can say something like that.
Yeah.
But Gary, it takes time.
It does take time. And when we read the author of Hebrews and in the 10th chapter, 24th verse, it says, let us consider how we may spur one another on toward love and good deeds. The daily ritual of taking your temperature, of connection, of emotional check-ins, you know what? It will build that spurring one another on.
Have you ever wondered where it says in the Bible that a man is supposed to make coffee for his wife? Hebrews.
Yeah.
You like that one, didn't you?
You didn't make that up. No, I
But
do
darn
brew.
it, it's really good.
Because that's part of my deal.
And you
I get
do.
up, I
He
brew coffee
brews.
every morning
Yeah,
and bring it to Barbie, and she enjoys it.
I do.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
go ahead. Back to your notes.
All right. So ritual number 2, Barbie. Ritual number 2.
Okay, putting the glasses on, and
This is really good.
oh, this is really good. Going to bed at the same time.
Yeah.
It's not about like, let's go to sleep at the same time. It's a matter of joined presence.
Mhm.
It's a matter of feeling, I think it lowers your stress. That
It does.
your loving husband, your loving wife is right there next to you, that you can settle in because you're not worried that you don't know when she's coming to bed, you don't know what he's doing, or any number of things. I used to like to stay up really, really late at night and do it alone because it's when I could make my list for the week and I could do so many things I didn't finish that day. But, I think there was a pause in our growth in our marriage because ultimately at some point you said, I really wish you'd come to bed with me. And so I've taken that seriously and I've taken it literally. And we do make sure we go to bed at the same time. It connects us emotionally.
Well, it
and
connects.
We quiet together.
It does. And so I've got some additional research here that you didn't know about.
No, surprised me.
Well, I was reading a Sleep Foundation study, and they said their analysis was about 60% of couples do go to bed at the same time, which I thought was higher than I would have presumed. 40% don't. And so the ones that do, here's what some of the findings were. It increases the oxytocin, releasing of the oxytocin. It increases intimacy. It serves for better physical intimacy, which I thought was interesting. It improves the REM sleep. So that's the deep sleep. And it gives a mental health boost, boost. And so
boost, baby,
a boost. And then I was just looking at something John Gottman said. And I thought it was pretty interesting that if you want better sex in a marriage, don't read a sex book, although we've got a pretty good one.
Wait, stop.
Yeah.
I've got it somewhere.
Yeah.
Yeah. Right here, folks.
Well, that's the 5 love needs of men and women.
Oh, that's the wrong book. Sorry.
But
I saw 5.
yeah, we do have a book on sex.
Oh, yeah, we do right here.
But what he said was you want to increase affection.
I think you need both of them.
Increase affection. And with increased affection, and he used a word that he kind of snickered. It was on a Instagram or something. But he said, you know what? When you cuddle, you enhance the connection.
The cuddling hormone.
Is it a cuddling hormone?
I kind of made that up.
Okay, so Barb just named her own hormone.
You got a cuddling hormone. For women, there's a lot of cuddling hormones.
Well, so when you go to bed and you cuddle, according to Dr. John Gottman, and he's kind of the guru on some of this stuff, then all that enhancement occurs. So you want better intimacy, better connection, better safety, better security. Go to bed at the same time. Sync those bedtimes together. Barbie, what are some of the other family rituals?
Well, I wanted to read Ecclesiastes 4:9.
Yeah.
Because the Word of God says this, and it's so wise. 2 are better than 1, for if they fall, one will lift up the other.
Yeah, that's really good.
And you know what? That's what daily rhythms do, daily habits, daily connection. And there will be times when there's sickness or there's not health, and there are elements that we're fatigued, and yet we have to fight through it on behalf of both of us
Yeah.
in marriage. And yet there is something so resounding when there is love and that deep intimacy of deep
That's
bond
good.
of being joined together. Two are better than one.
Let me give you another family ritual: screen-free meals. Screen-free meals. It was fascinating. We were at dinner recently with a couple of our granddaughters, and one of the granddaughters asked the server, "What's the website or what's the internet address for this restaurant?" Now, I have eaten in that restaurant for over 30 years. I meet two friends of mine on a consistent basis, and it's an accountability group. And so I have lunch in booth 41. We go to the same booth. We walk in, there's a line. We just go directly to our booth. If somebody's in it, we stand over them and shame them until they leave. We don't do that. Then they get us another booth. But we go to booth 41. I've never wondered what the internet address was at that restaurant. Remember, and I think I said to our granddaughter, we're not going to be on the screens in here. We're here to have dinner and connect and have some fun. And you know what, guys, let's ask some questions and encourage one another. Screen-free meals are huge. Now, we're big Chick-fil-A fans, and we love the Cathy family, and we know the owners of that deal, and it's the only people like that we know. But Dan Cathy, I remember years ago, Barb and I were helping marriages with Chick-fil-A, and along with other people. And Dan came up with an idea called the chicken coop. And so they made these little cardboard fabrications that look like chicken coops, and they put them in some of the restaurants. And then they had a ritual that they built, and they had some questions, and we were kind of on the team that helped generate some of the questions, as I recall. But the ritual that they were trying to develop is when mom, dad, kids go in there, you turn off your phone and you stick it in the chicken coop. And so you not only are turning off the screen, but you're turning on the connection. And I tell you, it was fabulous. It was absolutely fabulous. And we got all these anecdotal stories about families that were doing it, and they were digging it. They were loving it. So they'd go get Chick-fil-A, and who doesn't love Chick-fil-A? We love Chick-fil-A. And eat more chicken is what we like to say. But turn off your phone. You don't have to go to that restaurant to do this. Turn off your phone and identify a bowl or a shoebox, or believe me, you got grandkids, they'll come up with something, or kids. Open a drawer, in the buffet, and stick your phones in there for that 20 or 30 minutes and generate connection. And it will build lasting love. It's a ritual that will strengthen marriage.
And it'll strengthen your family,
Oh, it
because
will.
we are expanding this
and
to
family.
our family right
Yes.
now. Though Gary and I would have our chair time, our talk time every day in our marriage, and we've done this over a lifetime, and we watch each of our daughters doing that today in their marriages. There's something so precious about when you go to the table and you eat together as a family, be it at Chick-fil-A or in your own home. But when you're eating together, you can talk as a family. What was the best part of your day? How was your teacher? Oh, not so good. Okay. Well, let's unpack
And if you're
that.
homeschooled, that's really a problem.
There
right?
you go. Or yeah, really. Or talk about their friends, or what are their favorite things in life to talk about. Have conversations that begin around your family table. And that's a very, very important ritual that we really wanted to talk about too,
Yeah.
because your kids need that consistency. We were visiting with a couple recently, and they had been with us in an intensive, which means they work very, very hard for a couple of days, and we're with them and coaching them. One of the outcomes of their marriage was they went home. They told their children they're going to have family dinner together. The boys were great. They're multiple ages, and they were already like, oh, great, I can do that. And I'm not free Monday night, but I can do it every other night. The reality is your kids are waiting to be invited. Just
That's
tell
really
them
good, Barbie.
what they need to do so that you can have that cohesive love and consistency. They need it. They need the ritual of consistency in their lives as well.
And that's really good what you said. Your kids are waiting to be invited.
They are.
And you know what? A mom and a dad need to do the invitation. A grandparent can do the invitation. When you invite them, they may, kind of think it's different or unusual. That's fine. I mean, you'll get over that. But you do it consistently. And I tell you, you're building security in that family. Those are family rituals that help build families. There's another one. We talked about it in a recent podcast for marriage. but it's also good for families, and it's consistent date nights.
Talk about it.
Well, Barbie, when the kids would see me initiating a date with you, they enhance in security, they enhance in safety, they enhance in knowing that mom and dad are putting aside time for themselves. Sometimes we would do a date with them. I do daddy-daughter dates. That was great. And Barbie would do dates and go shopping and do different things. That's great. But you know what? There's something about a consistent date night that builds security. And we want to build security in our families. That's a ritual that will help strengthen your family. And it's amazing then when your kids are growing up, like ours have, and now our grandkids are getting older, and they're starting, many of them, to date. And they will talk about these things. Often the people that they're spending time with, they've never seen it. I mean, they're like, really, your parents do that or your grandparents do that. It's just new to them. Yet they yearn to want a piece of that because it builds and strengthens the relationship. So consistent date nights. Your romance will fade as life gets busy, doesn't it?
Yeah, it does.
I mean,
unless you work on it.
Unless you work on it.
Keep it top of mind.
Yeah.
And one of you in the marriage need to be advocating for that part of your marriage. You really do. And there'll be times that it's one of you, and the other season it'll be the other one of you. But the reality is this: it is oftentimes a key to breakthrough, a key to bringing couples back together. It is wonderfully healthy when used with the benefits that come with that in marriage.
Yeah.
Are you ready for another one?
Yeah.
Because this is my favorite.
Yeah, I know it
Gratitude.
is. It is, yeah.
And
you are Mrs. Gratitude.
no, I'm not Mrs.
Yes, you are.
Gratitude, but it keeps me well and it keeps me focused on Christ.
Nobody's better.
And this is really important to me, and I'll tell you why. Recently, we were given a beautiful invitation for a bat mitzvah. And it was going to last 5 days. And we were out of town. We couldn't go to it. And so I sent a gift, a financial gift, but it was really small relatively. I mean, believe me, it was small. But the reality is, it's a great family, and I wanted to make sure that we gifted them their daughter. Well, I don't even know if I told you this. I got the all-time best, amazing thank you note from a 14-year-old little girl. You would have thought I gave her something that changed her whole future. It was written with poise, elegance, personalized. So what did I do? I got on my phone. I texted her mom immediately. Her mom's a friend of one of my daughters. And I said, I got to tell you something. We give financially. We love to give to others. We've given for graduations. We've given for marriages. We have given for new babies. And I can count on one hand the number of thank yous that I have received. Now, maybe mothers have not taught their children to write thank yous. My mother did. I was in elementary school. She'd write it, I'd copy it, and my grandparents received it, and every other relative. The reality is this: we not only need to teach our children how to say thank you, to spell it out, write a thank you note, but I'm telling you right here in marriage, we need to hear the words thank you. We need to be reminded of what we do well.
Yeah.
We need to write a Post-it note and say thank you. I appreciate you the way you put gas in my car. I appreciate you the way that you were putting air in my bicycle tire. And then you took my bicycle tire and you took the whole bike in the car and drove it over to have it fixed. I am grateful for you. I love everything about you.
So we're going bike riding after we do this podcast?
I hope so.
Okay.
But anyway, all of that to say is gratitude is life-changing, folks. And I ask you to pause. I ask you, have you said thank you to someone today? Have you taught your children the importance of not only saying thank you, but to spell it out? Because there are people all around the world that are serving all of us. And just those two words can be life-changing.
And Barbie, you reached out to the mom. And again, we've known the mom because she grew up with one of her kids. But talk about her response, because you.
Oh, I did tell you then.
Yeah.
So
You told me you told a couple of our grandkids too.
I told them that it was the best thank you note I'd ever received outside of our family. which is
Yeah, because
true.
they write good ones.
They write great ones. But the reality is, she wrote me back, and the mom said that it was a very high value to this family, and that she taught her child to take a sheet of paper, one a day, and write a thank you note until they were all done. You see, when we break it down and it's that small, it's perfect.
Yeah.
It's doable.
It was awesome.
Well done. Well done. And you know who you are. Well done. And I was changed by this one thank you note. And then I thought of all the gifts that I've given, and I'm still longing to hear thank you. But I may not, but it's more important that I say thank you. And I am doing what I encourage others to do than waiting to be received. It is more blessed to give. It is truly than to receive. But gratitude's a great thing, folks.
Well, 1 Thessalonians 5:18 tells us, give thanks in all circumstances. And, honey, when we look at that, that means when it's hard, we give thanks. When we're disappointed, we give thanks. When we struggle, we say thanks. Because God is giving us air and breath and do-overs consistently to help strengthen a marriage and family. Gratitude is one of the glues that keeps a marriage and a family intact. And we've told you this before in these podcasts, but Barbie and I will be driving down the street and she'll say, let's express gratitude. And we'll start expressing different examples of gratitude. It's huge. It strengthens us. And so we want to encourage you to exercise gratitude. Barbie, we got some more rituals. I like this one. And it was number 7. I don't know where we're rating these, but we called it the State of the Union Talk.
I love this, Gary.
Yeah, talk about that.
Oh, I wish I'd known this when I was a young mom.
Yeah.
I wish I knew this when I was a young wife, because Gary and I, we learned how to sit in our 2 chairs. We learned how to talk to one another, look forward to connecting. And this is a continuation of our program today. But listen to this. Once a week, just ask each other, what worked this week? And then it allows you to build one another up and say, boy, I loved it when you made that chicken. You were so precious to me.
Barb, that chicken was unbelievable last night. If Barb puts that chicken in one of these podcasts, she's going to be the new Ina
I have
or something.
to tell you something. God's good.
Was it butter?
We do butter always. Lots and lots of butter. But reality is, do you hear how grateful it is?
Yippee-yi-ki-yay.
Worked. Ask the question, because there are a lot of wives out there. You need to know what worked this week.
Woo, doggies.
Your husband, you need to know, was that good steak? Was that good chicken? How'd you like those hard-boiled eggs? They were good. All right. So here's another great one. What didn't work this week?
Yeah.
But say it real gently. Sandwich it with tenderness, your tone of voice, your love. It might sound like, when we got into that conversation this week.
The robust one.
Yeah. I know there'll be a next time, but let's together remember the word tenderness. And maybe together that's our key word, and we say tenderness before we go there, because we don't want to go back to the old ways.
No, we don't.
So that's another question. And you can tell we're just figuring this out in our marriage at our cute little age of having a golden marriage. So I like this one. What needs repair?
Yeah.
And we're not talking about the bike. We're not talking about the plumbing. We're not talking about the roof or the trees. We're talking about, how do we say we're sorry? What needs repair? Is there a blind spot in me that Gary wants to gently admonish me over? It's just gently say, have you considered a different way of looking at this? Is this something that you want to live with the rest of your life, or is there a repair that needs to be made? The way that we just gave you these ideas, it builds emotional, here's the key word, fluency.
Yeah.
It's a different language, folks. It might not be a language you're used to using, but it's building emotional fluency, and it causes you to not allow resentment to pile up. And I think that's great. Let's be fluent in those those State of the Union talks, and let's be connected and tender through those times as well.
It's good. Another family ritual is dream sharing. It's when you're sharing your dreams. It's when when you're querying your kids, what are some of your dreams? I mean, what do you dream of? And you know what, moms and dads, if your kids don't have you asking them, who's asking them? There's nobody asking them that. Or if you're a grandparent, it's even for our stage of life, we're having a blast asking our grandkids. We date our grandkids. I mean, we grab them. I mean, you were texting. We had lunch with one yesterday. We had dinner with two, the night before.
And we were texting another one today. And I woke up, as soon as I woke up this morning, I texted my grandson who's out of town.
Yeah. And so we're texting them and we're reaching out and we're engaging them. And these are some of the questions. What do you dream of? When a grandparent, casts that question, the kids are so busy with all of the activity and the doing and the going to school and sports and all their activities and relationships and all this stuff. And mom and dad, sometimes, you're having to maintain, the discipline and make sure they're crossing the T's and dotting the I's. The grandparent doesn't need to do that quite as much. So we get to help them dream, think out of the box, stir their imagination. I wrote to one of my grandsons today, I love you and I believe in you. And he's in his 20s. He needs to hear that his papa loves him and he knows it, but that I believe in him. Because when doubt or insecurity or frustration or the stress comes in, he needs to know that there's somebody believing in him. I showed you a note the other day on my computer that I keep, and every day I have a list of stuff, and it's one of the top things on there. And a mutual friend of ours asked that grandson when he was in high school, who do you most connect with? And he said, my papa, because he believes in me. He listens to me. Dream share. Share the dreams. Share the dreams that you had when you were younger. And some of them came to be and some of them didn't. I wanted to play, on the same stage with Paul McCartney, and he's 83. I don't think it's going to happen, but I held on to that dream, Barbie, and you never know. But dream, share together. Barbie, another family ritual is non-sexual touch.
Mm-hmm.
In
our book, The 5 Love Needs, I will hold 5 sex needs. Sorry. 5 is a great number. But anyway, the 5 sex needs, I think it was number 3 for women, that the importance of non-sexual touch is so vital in a marriage. And when we've given conferences, I'm looking out over the crowd and the men I know are thinking with a big bubble over their head, what is non-sexual touch? What is this? Yeah. Well, you know what it is? It's affection.
Yeah.
It's when a man, and by the way, your expert is your wife. Mm-hmm. So run this all past your expert, who is your wife. But does she like it when you put your hand around her waist? Does she like it when you put your arm around her shoulders? Does she love a great back rub? Is it a matter of holding hands or when you put your hand on her knee? And I know where you're going right now, but anyway, it's a non-sexual touch for a woman is, from what I'm thinking, we had 700 couples that we interviewed.
Yeah.
And this is what women reported to us. And if you want a copy of this book, you can go to Amazon. And it's the 5 sex needs of men and women. One couple told us, we just mentioned it very casually, and they went out and bought it. And she
read the entire book.
Really didn't. She enjoys audiobooks. She said she read this and highlighted it and had it done within about 24 to 36 hours.
Yeah.
Then she gave it to her husband and recommended that he get a different color of a highlighter. Then cool. They would change. She would read what he wrote, what he highlighted, and he would read what she highlighted.
Yeah, we thought it was pretty cool.
Folks, really, it's a wonderful book. I don't believe it'll make any of you blush, but it will.
One chapter will.
But it'll be a blessing blush.
Yeah.
How's that?
And we're not going to tell you which chapter, because when we say it, people just go read that chapter.
They go, what chapter?
In Song of Song 1, chapter 1, verses 2, on Song of Solomon, let him kiss me with the kisses of his mouth, for your love is more delightful than wine.
So you know what we could do right now? I'm going to change topics, and we could also talk about the 5 love needs. Why? Because it kind of goes with my red jacket. Do you see that right now?
It does go with your red.
So I am taking, this is called effective distraction.
Yeah.
So we've gone from 5 sex needs to the 5 love needs. And
you're trying to distract me?
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm shaking.
You're dangling the keys.
That's right. Okay.
All right. We're almost out of time, but here's another ritual. Celebrate each other's wins.
Because it's not just your wins, it's our
Our wins.
wins. Yeah.
And whether it's your spouse, your kids, celebrate them.
Mm-hmm.
Celebrate them. Let those words come from you. Romans 12:15, rejoice with those who rejoice. I mean, cheer each other on. Guys, you need to hear your wife's voice. Wives, you need to hear your husband's. The kids need to hear your voices. Share it. Celebrate it. And then one more secret before we wrap up.
I'm going to share one thing.
Okay.
An example is this, that when Gary earned his doctoral degree, we had some of our dearest friends in the world give you a briefcase, a Hartman briefcase.
Yeah, beautiful. I still have it.
And they gave to me this beautiful Noah's Ark plate. And it was a porcelain plate. It was gorgeous. I could have never afforded to buy it for myself. But Gary, it was in that instant I realized it was really our degree. And if you've ever gone through school with your spouse and supported them and sacrificed with them and alongside of them and the whole family sacrificed, honey, it was our win. And in those early days, I just get chills remembering that, because that has helped me to understand that in marriage, when she wins, it's an our win. And when he wins, it's an our win, all for the sake of teamwork in marriage.
So all of these family rituals will build lasting love within a marriage as well as a family. And keep in mind that all of these are connecting touch points. And you don't build connection in an emergency. It's maintained every day. So you don't just wait for the big moments. You have the successive small moments that then build the connection. And so that means you get to pick up wherever you are. And that includes today. We're delighted that you join us for our podcast. We call it the Rosbergs, Your Marriage Coaches, because we are your marriage coaches. We love this. And God's entrusted us with these messages. We've been writing since the 80s. We started doing radio in the 90s, and
that
podcasts.
Sounds like ages, though, Gary.
Well, it is ages.
No, it's not. No, it's years.
Oh, I mean,
it's
the
decades.
1980s and the 1990s. Yeah, not in our 80s and 90s. And Barb's only 21, so I don't know how that would happen.
Yeah, we're in our golden years, but folks, we're not 80s and 90s yet.
No,
but we
not.
plan to get there together, a team.
Yeah, we do. And we want these rituals to not only win in our families, but to win in yours. And that would be the greatest joy of our lives, because we want to be found faithful, stewarding that which God's entrusted to us, and then sharing it all along the way. So God's blessings to you. Thanks for joining us. Tell your friends. Make sure that you sign up for these podcasts and that you leave a comment and give us a thumbs up. And those are all the measurements that will help us know that somebody's listening and encouraged by it, and pass it on so that others can be encouraged as well. Guard your hearts. We'll see you next time.
See you next time.
Hey listeners, make sure to stay up to date with the Rosbergs by subscribing to their show, Your Marriage Coaches, on any major podcast platform such as Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and iHeartRadio. Don't forget to turn on the notification bell so you will get an alert each time a new episode is released. Whatever platform you're listening on, please rate the podcast and leave us a review.
Thanks for listening to this episode of The Rosbergs, Your Marriage Coaches, with Dr. Gary and Barbie Rosberg. To find out more, go to americasfamilycoaches.com. Once you're there, you can check out the many resources that they have available. From their many books to their informative video series, 6 Secrets to a Lasting Love, they've got all the tools you need to help you grow deeper in your relationship with your spouse and with God. Go to americasfamilycoaches.com and click on the Resources tab. Also, if you have a marriage question, you can call 855-ROSBERG and leave a message with your question. We may use your question on a future episode. We appreciate your prayers and support for this ministry. Find out how you can come alongside us when you go to americasfamilycoaches.com. Just search the top of the index for the Donate tab. Thank you for listening in today. Be sure to join us next time for another episode of The Rosbergs, Your Marriage Coaches, with Gary and Barbie Rosberg.